Before I get into the video, I'm gonna request that you don't share it, because it is very risky that I'm making this video because I am still in contact with unsafe people in my life. It would be very bad if employers saw this of mine, if my parents saw this of mine, because I really only tell people about this part of my life if I trust them or if it's a safe space. So please just keep it in the Instafam, or if you're a friend of mine, it's because I trust you, but that's just a request of mine. So that's it. But hi, this is Leah, or who you know as Leah, because this is really just, this is a persona that we put on to seem like one person, because most of the time this is easier or it's safer. We act like one person because we need to, or it's just a habit. But I can guarantee that you've never talked to the same person twice unless they've given you their name. And there's a lot of us, and some of us are very different. And Angel is really good at explaining DID, so I'm gonna get her out here, and then her sister Alexa is gonna come out after her and talk to her. This is probably gonna be a long video because I have a list of things between them. So sit back, grab a snack, and listen. So I don't switch in front of people because I don't like them watching my face while I do it, but oh well. No, I'm gonna put you over there. Okay, so I'm the only one with this accent. My accent comes from, this is Angel. I should say my name. I don't usually do that. I'm not used to saying my name because people usually know that I'm the one with the accent, so they just know if they hear this accent, it's me. But for those of you that don't know, my name is Angel. My first language was backwards English. Backwards, it was a backwards language that was the most similar to English, and I didn't speak English until I was about 16. I either translated it constantly before speaking, or I just had my sister talk for me. And when I was about 16, I decided I was tired of this. I couldn't continue life like this, and so I just I actually buckled down and I learned English, and I can still speak my first language. I just now English is just, I'm fluent in it now, and that's what I speak. So first of all, what I do, I am the idea of a perfect daughter in the eyes of our adoptive father. And so basically what that means for me is I am very good with communication. I just have a habit of seeming perfect. I speak when spoken to. I am very good with social events. I'm very good at just being on my feet talking to people for hours if I need to. I'm very good with structured communication when I'm not supposed to reveal something. I'm just very good at that kind of thing. And I'm very proper. I tend to stand up straight, and I'm very good with like manners and all that. So it's kind of generally what I do. And I'm just gonna start from the basics, and then my sister's gonna get into some of the more personal things to our system. So so the name for what we have is Dissociative Identity Disorder. It used to be called Multiple Personality Disorder. It is not a personality disorder. It is a dissociative disorder, and dissociation is a basic human experience. Everyone does it. So like normal scale of dissociation is if you're driving in a car and your mind wanders and then you don't really remember the entire car ride. Nothing happened. You got there safely. It's just that you had natural dissociation, and you don't really need to pay attention to the entire drive because you do it every single day, and you just kind of, your mind wanders to other things because you're bored and you don't really need to pay attention. It's just safe normal level dissociation. So that's normal scale down here, right? We are all the way up here, top bar, and we have the severe level dissociation. Our mind has walls to protect us from the trauma that made us up here, that took it all the way up there. So what creates dissociative identity disorder is trauma. You are not born with it. You cannot be born with it. You have to go through severe repetitive trauma in childhood in order to develop dissociative identity disorder. That is a fact. So there are some people who believe that you can be born with it or you can just create it in yourself. That is not true. Don't come at me with that. So you have to go through trauma. But what that trauma can be is whatever, and it doesn't have to be sexual abuse, although that is the most common. It can be medical trauma. It can be severe bullying. It can be a wide variety of things as long as it is repetitive, happens over many years, and it happens severely. So I mean, I know a system that's medical trauma. I know more than one. I know like basic typical family domestic trauma. There's just a whole bunch of things. But what we went through, I'm not going to say it on here because those kind of details I don't really want out in a video, but I will say that complex severe trauma, I'm just going to leave it at that. So for those of you who really do know more about our past, you know what I'm talking about, but that's kind of what I'm going to leave it at. So I'm going to go through basic lingo and pronouns first so you can follow me and my sister throughout the video so you know what I'm talking about. So if you really are unfamiliar with DID lingo, I might suggest taking notes right now so you can refer back to them because we really do talk in DID lingo. That's kind of what we do. So first is pronouns for what we do. So I don't mean what you call us, I mean what we do. So when I say I mean as in like I, Angel, did something, or my sister does the same thing, we all do the same thing. And so when the individual alter uses like I, as in I did something, they mean they, them, like that specific alter means I, just them. But if like I said we, I mean we as a system did something. So if the term we is used, it almost always means the system. We will specify if we mean outside of the body people. So that is pretty consistent. We will generally specify like we will just say we if we mean like our parents and I, we will say my family and I. We won't just say we. We will be very specific about that. But if we really do mean just a system, we will just say we. So that is, we use pronouns. Okay, so some basic lingo. System, that is what a DID system is called. So like all the alters put together, that is like a system. So another one is alter. Not every system likes that term. Some other ones I've heard are parts, insiders, headmates. I've heard a few different ones, but alter is the most common one. I would say alter and parts I've heard most therapists use. We prefer the term alter. I'm an alter. I, Angel, am an alter in a DID system. So switching, that is the word for like, if I got my sister out here, that means we switched. And so that's just what that means. Inner world is like where we live inside. It's not just blank, it's not black. It's like there's an actual visual place where we live. It's like if you were, it's kind of like in meditation where you can visualize an area, like say you and you think of a beach, but like that, like so like that beach or whatever you're thinking, that is the same scene that's always there inside. So like this is I think my sister's supposed to talk about this. Am I supposed to talk about this? I'm supposed to talk about this later. I will get to that. So consciousness is when an alter is this is hooked up to mine, I'll say. So my sister and I have co-consciousness, so she can hear what I'm saying, she can see what I'm doing, but like there's alters that I don't have that with. So we have like a bubble. My sister and I are in the bubble together. There's other alters that are in the bubble with me. We can all see each other is doing if one of us in the bubble is out and controlling the body. But if someone else outside of the bubble is around, they can't see what I'm doing. And if they were to switch with me, they wouldn't remember any of this. They wouldn't remember. They might remember that I did something involving a computer and a phone, but they might not remember what exactly that. This bubble, at least with us, is very important in determining what an alter will remember, and with dissociation. And so fronting, like I'm fronting right now. That's just what that means. Fronting means controlling the body and being out. We will just say like being out or coming out, and that means all the same thing. Little is child alter. So for us, we would say that is anyone from 11 and under in the system is a little. And I just know that term tends to confuse people, so that's just what that means. We never say child alter, we just say little. So a little is a child alter. Okay, so just basic explanation of DID. It is trauma-based. It is, there is a less, I don't want to say less severe, but it's kind of a basic explanation for it. There is a less severe version of DID called, they change the name all the time. I don't remember what it is now, but I know it as OSDD, which I think means otherwise specified dissociative disorder. So that just might mean that your parts are deformed, or that you don't have the amnesia barriers as fully formed. The OSDD is DID on like a very, like on a much smaller scale, not as extreme as ours are. So there is that, but DID means that the trauma that you went through as a young child, the brain decided that it couldn't have this trauma in your conscious mind. That you would, as a child, develop much better if this wasn't in your brain all the time. That if you were thinking about it all the time, that would have been a very bad thing. And so it creates, this is the trauma, so, and this is the brain. It creates a wall, like an amnesia barrier to wall this off. And so the rest of the conscious mind over here doesn't have to think about this horrible thing all the time. And so this develops into an alter, and then this trauma keeps happening though. It didn't stop. And so there's going to be wall, because it keeps doing this. Now that it's figured out how to do this, oh, I can just shove this over here. We don't have to think about it. It just keeps shoving things over in corners everywhere. And so then alters keep popping because the trauma didn't stop. And so you just end up as an adult with all these alters because the brain figured out how to keep things in a box. But that doesn't make it go away. That just makes it develop into this part that learned to deal with this in its own way, or adapt to that specific part of that situation in its own way. And like me and the father, that's what I was walled off to deal with, and so I did. But my sister, totally different thing. And so she dealt with it in her own way. But because we were shoved off to deal with this, we did. But the rest of the stuff is over there. And so it just ends up so separated. And then you get all the dissociation because those walls are still there. And so you have to do the work to get those amnesia barriers down so you can actually talk to each other and what you're missing, and then actually get the communication going again, and then process the trauma. I hope that made sense. There's another channel that does talk about DID, and I do recommend her channel. She's very good. She's from the UK. Her channel name is Multiplicity and Me. I think it's all one word. Her name is Jess, and she's also very good at explaining this. And so go check her out. She's very good. I'm sure there's other channels. We just don't really check them out, but I do know about her, and she's good. So I've already gone through that. So, switching. I've already said what it is, but how do we control it? So, We can't totally control it, but we can control it to an extent. And so, like, we can't stop switch if it's triggered. We can't stop random switches. We might be able to delay it, but it will still eventually happen. Because if the brain has just hit that snap, needs to shove this part out to deal with it, it will still need to shove it out at some point just to get that out, and to process that emotion. But we might be able to shove it off until later so we don't have to deal with it while we're at work. We can't always make that work, but we, sometimes we can do that. But what we do to control switching is like a consent thing. And so, I mean, if I wanted to get my sister out right now, I would basically have to do this exchange with it. This is how we do it. I would have to say, like, hey, can you come out right now? Or do you want to come out right now? And she would have to say yes. So if she says yes, great, we can switch places. But if she's force her, and it's the same thing on her side. Like, if she wanted to come out right now, she would have to say, can I come out right now? I would have to say yes in order for her to come out. She can't force me to just go back in if I don't want to. So it's a two-way consent thing. That's how we control. And so I don't know if that's the same in all systems. That's just how we control it. There are like leaders in our system who, because of their role, they can force it, but they only do that when, like, say I'm freaking out about something and they can't calm me down. He would then yank me in because it's like, say we're out doing something, say we're at work and I'm at work, and then I start freaking out about something. He can't get me to calm down. I've lost all functioning, and like, this has happened, like, not with me, but other people. But and he needs someone else out so he can deal with me inside. And so he would pull me in, shove someone else out, and just to continue work, and then he would deal with me inside. That's when they might force it, but only specific people do that. Maybe like less than 10. So less than 10 ultras in. I'm already 20 minutes. That's amazing. So that's just how we control switching. But if it's cannot control it, if it's just, sometimes it's just random, we cannot control that either. So but yeah, it does help that we can willingly switch. But if it is a triggered switch, most of the time, like, and then, like, say something triggered us, then we switch, not immediately switch back. We have to let that emotion process, and then that end before we can actually switch back. And so that's sometimes why, like, a little will be stuck out for a few hours because something triggered them, and then they're just stuck for a while, and so they just have to, like, entertain themselves or talk to someone or just figure it out because we can't get them back in. And sometimes it makes it easier if they're trying to get back in, but sometimes we just can't, and so we just have to keep an eye on them. So most of the time, but not always. Okay, time loss and how we experience it. So, DID, I wouldn't, like, you don't have to have time loss to be diagnosed with DID. Some systems don't have it. Some systems don't experience the level of, like, time loss as other systems. When we were diagnosed with it, we were having full 100% amnesia between each part. We did not remember. We could not control switching. This was 10 years ago. We just had no idea. We had to be told we had DID. We had zero awareness. And there are systems that have been aware that they were systems since they were little kids. I mean, it really does vary among systems. We were at the very end of zero awareness, zero memory, zero control. It was just, it really was like working from the bottom up with us. And it took a few years to actually get to where we are now. And so time loss, I would say with littles, it's always going to be time loss, always. Littles don't know how to transfer time. They don't know how to share time. We might be able to be watching them while they're out. In fact, most of the time we can, but that doesn't mean we're going to be able to remember it afterwards. For some reason, we just can't remember, even if we're watching them while they're out. It just, for some reason, something happens when they go back in, and it's just, it gets lost in here, and it doesn't work. Dissociation, because we dissociate so often, I think we switch on average 4 to 5 times a day right now. Every time we dissociate, it makes us lose a little bit of memory from that day. And so that's why we remember so little from each day, is because we're dissociating so often. And we've learned to work with it. I mean, it's very frustrating, but I mean, we've learned to function without remembering much of the day. And so it's just kind of what our life is like. So it's just one of those little things. But let's see, what else can I say about time loss? I would say for teenagers and up, I would say it's pretty much like general details. And so, like, say I ran some errands. I needed, I don't know, let me make up a list. Let's say I needed to go pick up a prescription from the drugstore. Then I needed to go get groceries. Then I needed to go to Target to get a present for someone. So say I did all those things, then came back home. And then someone else came out. They might remember that I did something before going to the grocery store. I got groceries because there's evidence of that in the apartment. So there's that. They don't really remember the grocery store. They might not know everything I bought, but they did know I did that, and they do remember the grocery store. And then they might not remember. They remember that I went to Target, but they see that I got the gift wrap. They might not remember every single item, and then they figured that I went home afterwards. They might not remember that for sure, so they might ask around. That's generally what the details are from if I just went out and did something. And so not all the details come through. Even if someone's co-conscious, not all the details come through. And even if they were watching me, things get lost. And so it's just it's never going to be 100%. It's but we get enough, I would say. And so the last thing for me is, how many alters do we have? We don't have an exact number. Someone in here does. I don't know what it is. It's between 650 and 700. And then what the inner world looks like. It doesn't feel like that many because you don't live with all of them. Because this is where the inner world thing comes in. This is what, basically, what the inner world looks like. If you can picture, okay, first of all, imagine a big glass box behind this, and then you've got it. Because there is a big glass box behind this that more of them live in. But, so this is the top one. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 levels actually in this top one, in this top layer. There's one actually in the middle here. It does look like a book stack. I don't have this for like shits and giggles. This is actually what it looks like. Just more old-fashioned. And more fancy. And then there's this one, which just has 2 inside. Then there's another one between these 2 layers, and then there's this one that has 2. So that's 12 in total. I used to live here. This layer is called the shadow level. This one is called the underground level. This one is called the app level. And I used to live on the shadow level. Then I was transferred to the underground level. My sister lives here still. She can tell you who lives where, but that's kind of what it looks like. And so, yeah, I mean, it's really complicated inside. It's way too much for one video. I mean, each level looks very different. So I don't want to go into that one for this video because my sister has too many topics. So, I mean, we'll figure out something for that later if you really want to. But that's it for I'm gonna get my sister to come out. Alexa's twin sister. We really could not be more opposite though. But she and I are best friends. So, yeah, you'll see what I mean. She really, like, they picked us to do this video for a reason. So, hang on. Alright. So, I'm Alexa. She mentioned that I was her fraternal twin sister, so, I gotta say what I do. I deal with the mother, and I'm emotional and physical defense for the entire system, really. They would use me in any situation, but shadow level. So that's what I do. Is that it? Do I just say anything else? I'm also kind of like, I'm considered a leader. It's not really my job title, but I mean, I'm thought of as a leader, kind of like a mini leader, you know. Okay, so you can use the diorama for this. Okay, the most. So in terms of like who are like the main, okay, so because we're such a big system and we switch so often, there really isn't anyone who the most. We switch so often, and it's never like the same person twice unless we deliberately do it. So like it's gonna be like, these are the most prevalent, or like the most important. So that's kind of, there are two guys who sit inside and watch whoever and help whoever's fronting, and they've somehow figured out to remember things when no one else does. So we don't know how they do it. We don't really know what their names are, even because they say it's irrelevant. For the longest time, our names were irrelevant for the first like year and a half that people knew who we were. We went by A and A. We didn't actually say what our name was. So I mean, I get it. So we might figure out their name someday. We might not. I don't know. But wow, we're super dehydrated right now. My voice is much deeper than this normally. Okay, so there's those two guys. I want to say they live here in the underground level. That's my guess. I don't feel like they live anywhere else. Let's see. There's Blaine, who lives here. He is the leader of this level. He's the leader of the underground level. He doesn't come out very much. He really only comes out when he absolutely needs to. He is much more the like helps inside kind of dude. He knows a lot about like stuff that affects the entire system. He's the one that really, like, if an altar's freaking out about something or something that's really fucking them up, he will be the one that they take them to, and he will be the one that works with them and fixes them. So I wouldn't say he's a doctor. That's really not what he does. He is just like, it's more like he's a mechanic. That's kind of what I would say he is. And there's Angel, who she lives there now, and then I live here. So that's us. Help us for random things. So there's Christina, who lives here. She is a singer. She's fairly new. She is only like, I don't know, 18 months maybe, a little less than that. She's only a little over a year, and she's really good at singing, but she also just likes helping out with things. She likes just helping out the system when they need someone. Or she likes running errands. She likes talking to people. She's not on here very much. She doesn't come out a lot lately, but she's like there. Let's see, there's Logan. He's really new. I don't remember when he was created. Sometime in the past few months. He where did he live? Logan lives here too. Logan lives in the underground level. He's getting used to things. He is still trying to figure himself out and just get used to the world before he really does things. He's more of like an organizer part for like life stuff. That's kind of what he does. Let's see, there's Cindy, also lives in the underground level. Cindy is basically, if you combined Mary Poppins and Cinderella into one person. She dresses like the colors of Cinderella, but with Mary Poppins style. And she has the personality of Mary Poppins, but she cleans like Cinderella. So I would say that's kind of what she does. And she's not a very social person. She likes to just get shit done. And to the point where like she will ignore like pain front of the body. She will ignore all needs. She just needs to get everything clean. And so, like, if you're out after Cindy, like, you're gonna be fucked up because, like, all the joints are gonna be hurting. You're just gonna be in so much pain because she does not stop. She likes to get everything clean. That's her priority. She is useful though because she doesn't stop. I mean, she will, if we really need stuff clean, we will put Cindy out. Let's see. There's Nikki, who lives in a white level between these two layers. Nikki is, Angel forgot this term. Okay, she is a host part. And so I'm gonna go, but Nikki is not a people person. She is not into talking to people. She will if you message her and if she feels like she should answer, but she's more likely to make someone else answer. And she's very blunt. She does not care if what she says upsets you. She will just throw it out there. And we always forget that about her, but no, she's the most blunt person I know in this. She's kind of, I don't know, she's kind of, I wouldn't say she's cold, but she's like not like very very neutral. She really is, I don't know how, she's just very direct, very straight, very neutral, very low, you know. I think, does that make sense? I don't know. I would say you can just meet her, but she's not going to come on here. She doesn't like to. So what, I got to go over what a host part is. So I would have a host or core. And so what that means is like the person who carries the rest or the person with it. And so we don't have that. We don't really have a person that carries the rest of us. So we don't have like a main person in here. We just have like all of us in one body. I think it's because of our background and we're so massive that's just not how we function. We have 6 host parts and we don't like to use that term even. We use the term daily life parts, and Nikki is the daily life part. Because that title means that you can be out indefinitely if you need to. You're not going to get tired, and that is hard to do, actually. You can function on your own. You don't need inside help. You can organize things, and you can handle work on your own. You can handle friends on your own. You can basically live a life on your own if you need to. Say we're not switching for months, like, and the daily life part could handle that. A lot of us can't do that. Like, I can a couple of days at a time, but I mean, I wouldn't be able to be life part because I'm not built for that. You have to be built for that. And so there are people in here that are daily life parts, or host parts as they're also called, but we don't use that term. We call them daily life parts. And so like Nikki is one. Who's some others? What's that girl's name? I can't remember her name. Kessa, that's her name, Kessa. There's Kessa, there's Celeste, there's Kat. It's a very specific kind of altar that does that. And there's usually one on each level. So there's Nikki, there's Kessa, there's Kat, there's Celestia, and there is one down here. This is a very different kind of level in here, but yeah, so there you go. Okay, here's some notable ones. Have you mentioned love in a post? No, you haven't. Okay, so we're gonna get to, okay, so this is a long ass video. Okay, Love is she lives here with me. She's my alternative best friend, if I had to pick a different one than Angel. She and I get along very well. She and Angel do not. She and Angel fight so much that they are the reason this rule exists. They are not allowed to talk to each other unless they absolutely need to, because every time they talk to each other in the past, an argument would start and they would start fighting with each other. Like every single time, they're just so different from each other that, like, without fail, an argument would happen. And so Michael, leader of this level, is just got tired of it. other people were arguing, and he just said, we don't need this. And he saw that they were most likely not going to see eye to eye, and so he just like basically said, you over there and you over there, and that really kind of stopped it. And so they're not allowed to talk to each other. But I got along really well with Love, and so she and I are really good friends. But Love is one of those people that, depending on your interaction with her and how you met her, you were either going to love her or hate her. There is no in between. Love is, she represents inconsistency. So every trait about her, there is one to contradict it. And so she has a very pastel appearance. Like, she is platinum blonde hair. She dresses in all pastel clothing. But she is, like, her personality is extremely cold. She's very strategic. And so if you play against her in a strategic game, you're probably going to lose unless you have a really good hand, or you're really good at the game and she's never played. Then you might have the upper hand. But, what do you think? If she's really trying, we call it scheming because that's basically what she does. If she's got a scheme against you, it's gonna be an intense one. I mean, she's made people basically lose their mind just over a text conversation with her, because she just knows how to get under people's skin. She can really just figure out what would fuck with a specific person's mind. She's really just really good at that kind of thing. And she used to be really be a problem, because when we were first diagnosed, she was more on the evil side. She would always have to put her basically what you would call a penalty box, which I'm not going to go into. That's a huge explanation. But she would always be just doing things that we would have to penalize her for. And then she, it was a problem. And she just decided one day that she was like, you know what, I'm going to be good. I'm not going to do anything. And we didn't believe her. We were all just waiting for it. And no, she didn't. She just decided to not do anything. And then she got her second title, which is helping out with suicidal feelings. And so if an alter is suicidal or a friend is suicidal, they send her out because she's actually very good at that. She can, or people whose friends maybe attempted suicide and the friend is freaking, she's just very good at getting their mind back on track. She is good at calming them down. She's just such a direct person that it works. And I don't know, it's very strange, because you think that because she's so cold and just really just she's, if you're not used to her, she's a little off-putting. But I mean, I knows how to do it. She people who have encountered her in that situation really do appreciate her. But the people who have encountered her in a scheme really hate her. So I don't know, man. But that's love for you. Let's see. She does the predator's gaze. So it's actually a good thing if she's not looking at you. That means she doesn't care. But if she's looking at you, she will just look straight into your eyes and she will not break. And it's that means she's curious about you. She's trying to figure you out. She's trying to learn everything about you, and it's usually a bad thing. So she does the predator's gaze. So, yeah. Inconsistency. I don't know. She and I get along really well. Riley too is, she loves hanging out with Love. It will be like her little shadow. Riley too, is a little 12-year-old. 13. She's not. She's 12. She has severe ADHD. Cannot focus on anything worth a damn. She can't organize anything. She can't just. She's everywhere. She can't be here. She's everywhere else. She has severe mood swing periods. But she let's see. She loves glitter. She's the kind of person that if this were biologically possible, the person Riley too is. She loves neon colors. She's basically what Riley too is. When we were 12, 13 years old, we were so wrapped up in trauma, and we couldn't allow ourselves to be that we couldn't just be like a normal, like free-spirited kid at that age. And so Riley created to that. And so Riley too is free of trauma. She's never been involved in trauma, and so she be carefree in every way possible. So she is extroverted. She loves talking. She loves meeting friends. She likes hanging out with Love, actually, because she feels like she knows Love won't judge her, because Love doesn't care. Love does not give a fuck. She can be as annoying as she naturally is around Love, because Love will stand there, or Riley too was like doing this over here, and Love will just kind of not even pay attention to it. And Riley loves that, and so she loves hanging out with her. So I mean, Riley too always worries about annoying people, because she really cannot turn herself off. So that's Riley too for you. She lives she did live here. She was transferred here. Riley too can sing pretty well too. Love doesn't like music. So I don't know about her. Love's driving scares people. Oh, I was created already knowing how to drive. Weird fact. And I'm allergic to watermelon, and no one else is. There's Holven. This video is going to be so long. I'm sorry. They gave me too much to talk about. Holven lives down here, and so does May. Holven and May are the people down here on the Outback level who take care of the kids. May lives in a basement down there, and she cannot leave there. She lives there with, I don't know how many littles are down there. I want to say like 20. May is 16. She has been sexually abused, and all the littles down there have been sexually abused as well. And she just watches over them. And they all love her. The little boys that she lives with down there are very protective of her. And May does come out sometimes. She hasn't come out a lot lately, but she used to come out sometimes when we needed help with something. Like for a short period of time, she would do work with Nikki, and they were a good pair, the two of them. Let's see. Holden does help May out sometimes. If she's out, he will go watch the kids for her. They are friends, I think. Holden watches the rest of the kids on the level. So Holden's job is to make rounds and watch the kids. He's actually supposed to do it because the abusers told him to get information from the littles. And if he's supposed to find out if one of them is doing something bad, and he's supposed to report back so they can be punished. But he decided to turn this into a positive thing and watch over the little kids and be a friend to them. So he decided to turn this job that he hates doing into something good. And all the kids love him. They watch for when he comes. And so he's turned this into something good because he can't get out of this role. But he plays guitar. He's like 30. He has like red hair that's down to here and keeps it in a ponytail. He's a cool dude. He just he really hates his job, but he does, like, he knows that no one else is gonna watch out for these kids, and so he does it. So let's see. And the last one I have is Kiara. Kiara has been out on the DID Instagram, but she hasn't been out for a while because she got messed up a few months ago, and she's mostly recovered, but it was a nasty thing that she hit. So just been kind of letting her be. Kiara used to live here. She was transferred here. Kiara is the social artsy alter. It's kind of what I would describe her as, because we do have another alter who is artsy, but she's very introverted, and that really she really struggled with that, because like in situations where she needed to be social and do art at the same time, she really couldn't do it. She was so introverted that this other alter was so introverted that she really couldn't get past it. And so Kiara was created to be that kind of alternative. And so, like, the other alter was better at two-dimensional stuff, and she was very introverted. Kiara was supposed to be like the yin to her yang, essentially. And so Kiara is more like free thinking, and like in art, like she could be more abstract and three-dimensional, whereas the other one is really good at planning things and like planning things out, and she's really good at two-dimensional stuff. And so they're good at what the other isn't. And Kiara is extremely social. My God, she really will not shut up unless we make her. She will go find anyone to listen to. Anyone to listen to her if she wants to talk to someone. It's pretty much all the time, but like she really will just talk to anyone. So she talks a mile a minute. Kira is pretty good at dancing, and she is actually good at rapping. That's a weird fact about her. And Kira is also to alcohol. She gets horrible rashes if she drinks it. So yeah, okay. That is finally it for that. Okay, why do we all go by one name? And where did the name Leah come from? So there's actually one altar that shows the name Leah. She is a host altar. She was the one that went by the body's name. And she hated the body's name. We all hate it. Because we associate it with the parent, family, in our background. And it doesn't fit us. So like everyone who knows our name, our legal name, agrees that it doesn't fit us. And so this host altar decided that she wanted to pick a new name. And so she looked up names based on meaning, and so Leah Oriana. And then, so Leah Oriana, I think Leah means light in Ireland. And then Oriana, I don't remember what that one means. I'd have to look that up. But so originally it was just her that went by that. And then when we all decided that we wanted to go by a different name on some social media pages, we decided to make that a system-wide name. She still goes by it, like, just for herself, but now we all use it as, like, a chosen name. And so that's why we all go by that name. It's kind of like our chosen name, but also if you need a name to call us, like, kind of how you would call any other system. Like, you don't, like, like, if we're just out in the world, you're not gonna, like, expect, like, a bank teller to call us by our individual names. They're gonna call us by one name. And so we picked what that one name was. And so we decided that, okay, they're gonna smack a label on all of us bunched together. We're gonna pick what that label is. And so we picked Leah, and because we like it better. Well, you can call us if you're not sure who's out. You can, if we're on the Leah account, just say Leah. Or if it's the Angel account, you can still say Leah. You can just say Angel because the name's on it. We don't care. I would say if there are some altars that really just have no idea that we changed the name, they're just stuck in different years. They haven't caught up yet. So those altars, if they don't really know what's going on, they probably are not going to come on here. They're not going to go on social media. They're not going to go on technology because they really don't know. But if they do, I heard a weird noise. They might say they don't know who that is. They might ignore you because they don't know who you're talking to. I don't know. You can choose to either explain, or you can just choose to let it go. I mean, if you just give us a couple hours, someone else will be out. So I don't know what you want to do. It's up to you. But that kind of thing happens. We're a huge system. It's like people come out from different years, and they get thrown back into this current year, and they have to catch up. It happens all the time. So do all the altars come out? No. I mean, there are some that haven't been out in actual years. I mean, this is a huge system. You can't, like, let's see, if 700, 365 days a year. I mean, then we have people that come out several times a year. I mean, it would be a lot of work. I mean, there just are some that, I don't know, it's just too much to have them all come out. I'm almost done. How do we keep relationships with people, and then communication? So relationships, some of us do remember who people are, or at least that they're a friend. Like if I see, like Lexi I know is a best friend of ours, and a lot of us know Lexi equals really good friend. We can talk to Lexi, and so or if they don't remember that much, they at least remember if Lexi texts, she is a nice person and she knows about the system, and so they might remember limited details. But if they really don't remember who you are, they're just not going to respond. That's it. So I would say that's it. But sometimes the people who help out from inside, if like you say who you are, they will say you can respond to that, just to give them permission, like she's a safe person to talk to, that kind of thing. So they will help out if they can. Sometimes they remember just enough to talk to you or feel like they can, but they still might not remember who you are, but they don't feel like they need to know who you are. We can still talk to a person without really remembering who they are. I mean, we can just go with the conversation, and that way they kind of learn about you without actually do a whole introduction, which kind of ruins that want it to be casual sometimes, and they don't want to have to announce that they're new. And so sometimes they really just won't tell you. They'll just really secretly get to know you, which you might not like, but it's more comfortable to them. I know a lot of them really get nervous if you ask what their name is. And this is not just in our system. I know for alters that have trouble feeling safe revealing their name, it feels better if you say, "What can I call you?" That means they feel safer saying something that maybe might not be their name. They can give you a letter. They can give you if you say, "What is your name?" they feel like they have to give you their name. And for some of them, I've heard the littles say, "If I gave you my name, you own part of me." And they get really uncomfortable with that. And that's not our system. A lot of them do in other systems. And so I don't totally know what the reason is behind that. But I do know that if you say, "What can I call you?" it's just an alternative that feels a little bit less direct, and they feel a little bit safer in saying something else. Because often you just need a way to refer to a person, and that's it. So communication with inside and outside people. And so if I needed, usually if I talk to a person, I can just say their name, but if they really are far away, they can't hear me. And so then we'll just do a chain of people to get to them. Or someone will just literally just go grab them and yank them forward to where they can hear me. So there's that. But with outside people, we're really horrible at remembering to talk to people. Time does not pass the same way in our head as it does in the outside world. We don't realize that months and it feels like a very short amount of time to us, and then we lose people because to them it's been years. To us it's been months. And so, we lose people sometimes because we just pop up after years and we act like only months have passed. And for some people, they don't care that we do that, but others, they're like, "I'm not friends with you anymore. Why are you messaging me and acting like nothing's happened?" So we're really bad at remembering to talk to people. That's why we tell people to follow us on social media, because at least they'll know what's happening with our lives, because we really suck at talking to people in a consistent manner. So there's only maybe 3 people in the world that we will actually reach out to on a consistent basis, and those people know who they are. So, and they I think only one of them actually follows us on Instagram, or 2 of them. But I would say they're mostly on Snapchat and Facebook. So I would okay, I know someone else asked that, so if you want more about it, definitely let me know. One person. How do we feel about having DID? I'm just gonna end on this. We don't mind it. I would say just we don't like the trauma part. We don't like the PTSD part. That's the part that really gets us down. But we function better as a system now that we've done the work to have that communication. We've done the work to be able to control switching. We've done the work to be able to talk to each other and to remember certain things or enough. So because we've done the work, it's not as bad. We're functional. And so we don't mind it. I would say we would have a harder time functioning. As it sounds lonely to us to be one person or overwhelming, because if you're one person and you get really stressed out by something, you're stuck. You can't just go somewhere else and have someone else do it for you. So I don't know. That sounds like it really sucks to me. And I always have people to talk to in here, and I don't know. We don't mind it. So I know, like, we forget that it's a mental illness sometimes because we just, so yeah, always feel free to like message us. We've been diagnosed for 10 years. We've heard literally every question from friends at this point, so don't feel like a question is too personal, because trust me, it's not. We've heard more personal than that. So like, come on one of our live videos and talk to us about it sometime. Like, check out Multiplicity and Me. I'm sure there were other channels. I don't know what they are. Yeah, just do some exploring, because it's not scary. Trust me, it's not. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching an hour-long video. Oh my god. So peace out.